This is my Christmas hat. Because this is my Christmas video, but it's not just my Christmas video. It's actually my last video of the year, and as has become my custom, I like to take this opportunity to have a look back at the last 12 months, pick a few of my favourite images to share, a few video clips, look at what's changed and what I've learnt. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you like what you see and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. We're almost at the end of 2021, just on the lead up to Christmas. I hope you're ready for the festive season. It's a great time to be looking forward, planning for the year to come. But I also think it's a great time to just have a look back over the last 12 months. Consider what we've learned, how things have changed for us. And in my case, I've picked a few of my favourite images. I've whittled it down to 6 that I want to share with you with a little bit of background behind them. And what I'm actually going to do is jump straight in with having a look at the first image that I've picked as one of my favourites. And it's this one. Now I love the light and colour, the shape of the trees. I like everything about this image, the sunburst coming through in between them. I think it worked out really well. But there's actually another reason why I'm sharing this as one of my favourites, because it kind of marks a change in my photography. Because this is the very last image that I shot with my full frame, kind of professional level photography gear, my Nikon D810 and the big pro lenses. That particular trip out, I had been traipsing around in the woodland on the side of the mountain carrying all that gear for quite a while, and I paid a price because for quite some time afterwards some old back and neck problems flared up as a result of carrying the gear around, and that led me to a decision. And the decision was that I needed to go lighter weight, at least temporarily. And temporarily I decided to start using my vlogging camera, the Canon M50, as my landscape photography camera. I already had lenses for it, it was lightweight, and I decided I could use that as a kind of temporary solution, either until I felt like carrying the heavy gear again, or until I decided it was time to buy something new. What actually happened is I found myself enjoying using it so much that almost a year later, certainly 10 months later, I'm still using it and currently have no plans to change. Now, if I needed convincing that using this lightweight system was a good choice for me, then my next favourite image definitely brings that to the fore. I went and visited a location that I considered to be a bit of a nemesis for me, a bit of a white whale. It's a location that I'd visited loads of times. I really felt there was some potential there for an image, but I'd never managed to come away with anything that I was really happy with. But on this particular trip out, I had more energy because I hadn't carried a load of heavy gear, and as a result I spent longer exploring and trying to find that perfect composition, and it resulted in this image. I love the light in this image, but what I really wanted to achieve was to get this 16th century watchtower, which is a ruin, but I wanted to get it in its environment. I wanted the views out along the coastline to be there, and I finally achieved it with this image, and that's why I'm putting it up here as one of my favourite images of 2021. Now, as well as changing my landscape photography camera gear, I also changed the way that I did my videos. First of all, as a result of going lightweight, I started using my old GoPro, but then when that had some problems, I ended up buying a DJI Pocket 2, which is also recording this video. And I also decided to try to get a bit better with my video editing. And as I'd upgraded my computer system at the end of 2020, I gave DaVinci Resolve a go. And this is an incredibly powerful tool, which is completely free. And I have to say, I've never looked back, and I now find that my editing is much improved over what I was able to achieve with Apple's iMovie, which is what I used previously. Moving on towards summer, and I was working with some restrictions at the times that I could go out and how far I could get. And as I normally do in the summer months, I focused mostly on early morning shoots. It's cooler and there's less people around, but it did mean that I couldn't go as far afield. Now we get a lot of blue skies here. I mean, it's Spain, you kind of expect it. And one of the things that I've noticed about these blue sky days is they're not completely blue, because what we actually tend to get is a layer of thin cloud haze running across the horizon. And I found myself looking at telephoto opportunities, shooting a distant scene in and using that sort of thin cloud and haze around sunrise. I did a number of versions of images that followed this kind of theme, in amongst shooting more traditional sort of wide angle scenes as well. But one of those has made it into my favourites for 2021, and it's this one. Now I like the sort of mix of soft and harsh in this one. I love the way that the buildings just show through and the mountain just shows through, but I also like the fact that that one building is sort of popping out against the rising sun. I love the fiery colours in the sun, and I even like the fact that the building is kind of off-centre on the sun, rather than what may have been a more obvious shot of having the building more in the centre. I think it just looks better. So another thing that I have done this year is I started doing some work with a manufacturer, with K&F Concept. Now I have to say I was a bit unsure about whether this was a good idea. I've tried to keep my videos non-commercial. I don't have any paid advertising on the videos, and I believe YouTube can still put adverts on my videos, but I don't make any money from them, so they're not monetized for me. I also don't have any affiliate links in my video descriptions. So when I had the opportunity to get some products from K&F Concept to review, I was not sure whether it was a good idea, but I decided to go for it, and I'm glad that I did. In particular, I've loved the magnetic filter system that they sent me earlier in the year, and then later in the year they sent me some additional filters that work with that system. Very quick and easy to use, and I've got that now as my kind of lightweight solution. If I'm going out hiking for a long distance, then I take that, because they take up very little space in the bag and they're very light and they're very quick and easy to use. The other filter that they sent me that I absolutely love and I've used a lot is one of the square or rectangular filters. It's the reverse graduated filter. I absolutely love that for sunrise and sunset shoots, and I've used it a lot. Oh, and they sent me my Christmas hat. I don't know if you can see the logo. Christmas present from K&F Concept. Okay, it's time then for another one of my favourite images from 2021, and this one just goes to prove that my favourite images may not be the most popular, because this one definitely wasn't. I decided to go out early one morning and photograph an Osborne bull, and I struggled to find a very early morning, sort of still in the dark composition that would work. And I ended up shooting an image with my fisheye lens. Now, I liked this image anyway. I was actually really surprised when I looked at the image afterwards at just how many stars I'd managed to capture in the sky, because to the naked eye I could only see half a dozen. But I liked it. I liked the way the stars were positioned. I liked the extra light on the scene. I liked the way the bull stood out. And when I put the image out there, somebody pointed out to me, a very kind viewer pointed out to me that I'd actually managed to capture the constellation of Taurus, the bull, immediately above the billboard of the bull. So that's kind of added to the appeal to me. Compositionally, there were some things about it I didn't like. The angle I'd been forced to shoot it at meant that all of the scaffolding, if you like, the supporting structure was exposed and in the frame, and that didn't really look all that nice. And actually, when I put the video out there, a few people asked me if I'd considered, going in and doing an edit on it to remove all of that. And the answer was yes, I'd considered it, but I knew it was going to be an awful lot of work, and it's more removing, if you like, more editing than I would normally like to do to an image. But a few weeks ago, I decided to bite the bullet and have a go at it, and the image went into Photoshop, and I started the painstaking process of selecting and cloning all of that stuff out and creating what I'll call an art edit of the image, because with that much stuff removed from it, can I really still call it pure photography? I don't know. But this is what the image looks like with all of that stuff removed. And I have to say, I really like it, and therefore it's making it into my favourite images of 2021. As we started to move towards the last couple of months of the year, I started to realise something. I started to become a bit of a slave to my video release schedule. I was doing 2 videos a week, and that seemed to be my priority, getting those videos out. And that meant instead of going off and exploring new places and trying to get the best photography in and the most interest in and the most enjoyment for me in, I was kind of going to places where I could get a video done quickly and easily to get the next one out. And that had to change. So I made the decision to move away from 2 videos a week to 1, and I'm really glad that I did that. It's given me more opportunities to get out and explore, hopefully to improve the qualities of the video, to show you guys some new places, and to get some interesting images that I wouldn't have otherwise got. Sometimes some things that are a bit different. There's another lesson to be learned here. I do the photography and I do the videos for my own enjoyment, and if I start to put the wrong kind of pressure on myself to put too much content out there, I'm not going to enjoy it so much, and it's just not going to be as good. It was kind of about this time of year that thoughts turned towards autumn and autumn colours. Now, that's not something we see a lot of around here, because most of the trees that we get in this part of Spain are pine trees, so they don't change colour. But there are a few locations, and there was one in particular that I wanted to visit. It was a bit of a drive away. I was really happy with the scenes that I found there, some beautiful colours, and I spent quite a bit of time making use of those for some different scenes. But it was right at the end, just before I lost the light completely behind the valley wall, that I got the image that I liked the most, and the one that's making it into my favourite image collection for 2021, and it's this one. I love the colours, I love the play of light on the tree and around the trees. I love the shape that the trees, or the tree and trees, make in the scene, that sort of curving, twisted shape. There's lots of fine detail in there, and it just appeals to me. And it may even be, it's certainly in my top 6 images for the year. It may even be in my top 2. That's 5 images. What about number 6? Well, I had a tough choice to make about number 6. I got it down to 2 images, both shot on the same photo shoot. I was at a salt lake in Torrevieja. We had gorgeous skies, beautiful, tranquil, still water, reflections. The only thing that was marring the scene was the fact that I was being absolutely eaten alive by mosquitoes. But nevertheless, I hung in there and I got some images that I really liked. And I struggled to decide between two of them. I've finally chosen this one. I mean, what can I say? Beautiful colours, great cloud patterns, reflections, a glow from the setting sun. It's actually a time blend. It's one image shot at sunset with the sun just dropping down behind the distant mountains, and one about 5 minutes later when the colours really picked up in the sky. It almost didn't make it in here because there was another one that was in the running and it was shot only a few minutes before, but it has such a different feel to it because the light was just somewhat different, and it's this one. And this one has a much more tranquil feel to it. The light is softer and gentler. And yes, I know I've made 6 images into 7. I've cheated. But I really struggled. I think on balance, the sunset reflections one is probably just tipping over to be my favourite of the two. But on another day, I might choose it another way round. So thank you very much to everybody that's followed my journey through 2021, or through part of it if you joined part way through. I really do appreciate every view, every like, every comment, every share, and every subscribe. It means a lot to me that people take the time to watch my videos and listen to me rambling on and taking pictures. All that it remains for me to say is, I hope you have a fantastic Christmas and a great and happy New Year. I will be out with a video on the 1st of January. It's going to be an in the field video, a photo shoot out at a location. And I hope you'll join me for that and for the rest of the videos that I'll be putting out throughout next year. So until January the 1st and that new video, as I said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.